I am Claudel Ali Bristol, Regional Literacy Coordinator for Region Number 10. Learning must be at the heart of what happens in any educational institution, any school, any educational organization. And it is not something that is simple. It's quite complex. If it was simple, children would have learned automatically, and we know for a fact that that does not happen. And because it is complex, and because it is not as straightforward, we have to ensure that it's at the heart of what we do in school. And because of that, because our learners are unique, then learning is quite difficult. And so education systems have to ensure that learning is it's a central priority of what they do. Historically, schools were designed or set in a way where teachers were just known as authors of knowledge. Teachers stood in front of the classroom and they told the children 2 and 2 is 4. The children were never given the opportunity to discover that for themselves, to find out that for themselves. Teachers were basically transmitters of information. They tell the children what to do, how to think, what to learn, when to learn it. And so if we want to find out what gives us 4, teacher stand, teacher says 2 and 2 is 4. And children are never allowed to discover and to think about that. And if the children want to say, you know what, but I can also get 4 by saying 6 minus 2 is 4. That is not how it was done traditionally. However, new research about learning, how the brain works, how children process and think, has caused us to think about learning differently. And so we have a curriculum that focuses specifically on how children learn. And embedded in this curriculum are principles of learning. And these principles are anchored on the theory of constructivism. Now, if we know anything about constructivism, it's where we allow children to construct their own knowledge. How do we do that? Then what's the purpose of us having teachers? This approach says to us that teachers are no longer authors of knowledge, but facilitators of learning in our classrooms. And so they are there to facilitate the learning and help children to construct their learning by providing them with relevant and engaging activities and experiences where the children can construct their own learning. So you want the children to learn how to find 4. Teachers in our curriculum that we have designed now are there to provide the resources and the materials and the environment, and the children are given the opportunity to find 4. That might mean 10 minus 6, 2 plus 2, 3 plus 1, 2 multiplied by 2. There are various ways by which our children can find that. And so we have these 10 principles that are embedded in our curriculum, and that is what I want to talk about here today. And one of the first one that comes to mind is the fact that teachers were there as the authors of knowledge. Teachers were there to tell the children this is what they're going to learn, how they're going to learn this, how they're going to learn that. So they went to school and they sat and they copied copious notes in their books. And that is traditionally how it was done, right? But when we move away from that now to new models of learning, we'll understand that children are given the opportunities, provided with the means, and they are now constructing their own knowledge. So no longer are our children required to sit in single files and look on the chalkboard face forward. Our classrooms now, the children are sitting all over. The teacher is not the center. The chalkboard is not the center. Teacher could be in the middle. Teacher could be at the back. Children could be in front. We could adopt technology now, so the teacher might be in another country and the children are here learning. So we've moved away from that, where we're sitting single file, teachers central and the focus of the classroom, to now the children interacting and basically learning with the teacher there just as a facilitator. And so our newer approaches to learning includes our use of technology, includes cooperative learning groups, includes individualized learning, includes group learning where our children will learn from each other, peer teaching, peer tutoring. The lists are so much, and as we go on in these modules, you're going to hear about so many others. There's so much. And so because the times are changing, our children are different, we are in the 21st century, we have to be able to adapt to these new ways and new means of learning and engaging our children. So the first principle of learning is founded on the recognition that each child is unique. Each student is unique and has unique qualities and varied abilities. And these are respected in every learning situation. That simply means that our children are diverse. And because our children are diverse, we need diverse teaching to cater for our diverse learners. So the second principle says, and this is one you would have heard director stress, that we did not literally throw away the baby with the bathwater. We brought some of the things that we knew for a fact were working in our old curriculum. And one thing that all teachers will tell you that they know is that we always start teaching from the known and we move to the unknown. And so when we start teaching from the known, that means that we use children's prior knowledge. And so embedded in this curriculum is the fact that we start the teaching learning process from the prior knowledge that the children bring to the classroom. Then we look at their interests. We look at their interests and we also look at their experiences that they bring to the classroom. And those are used as foundation and starting point for any lesson that we're going to teach. And that's our second principle. The third principle is the fact that student learning is optimal when learning is situated or nestled in students' relevant, personal, and meaningful experiences. So the teaching learning process starts with what is relevant to the child, what is personal to the child, and what is meaningful to the child. That simply means that when we're teaching a child here in Georgetown, we use what is relevant to Georgetown or Region 4. As against when we're teaching a child in Wauner Region 1, we use what is relevant, personal, and meaningful to that child here. We might be teaching the same thing, we're teaching nouns, but we use the things the children are accustomed to in their environment. We tell them about garbage truck, that's a noun. We tell them about the Balwan Singh Hospital, they know about that. But when it comes to the child in Region 1 who lives down a river, we use the personal and meaningful context and information in his or her environment to teach them the same nouns. Yes, the children in Wauner Region 1 need to learn about the garbage collector, and they will. But when we start the teaching learning process with what is familiar to them and in their particular context, it makes it easier for us to move from that now to the garbage collector, to the Balwan Singh Hospital, because now they've already learned what that is and we're moving away. So it's essential that we start. And so I agree with you. It gives teachers that flexibility to move in and around the curriculum. It's no longer we're teaching this, and regardless of where you are in Guyana, that's it. And so the fourth principle says that student learning is enhanced when students play an active role. And this particularly and specifically aligns to the constructivist theory, because that says to us that children are active participants in their learning process. The next principle says learning can it's both personally and socially constructed. And so it's a personal thing for me, regardless of where I am. I'm learning about this in my particular context. And so classroom opportunities are organized in such a way where children are given the ability to work by themselves. They're given the opportunity to work in groups, as well as large whole classes. And so embedded in the curriculum are these principles that we know for a fact will enhance the teaching learning process and make it easier for our children to continuously adapt and grow and become functional. The sixth principle says that student learning occurs in safe, supportive, and equitable environments. And we know for a fact when children are in safe and comfortable environment, they learn more. They're able to do more. They're able to excel more. And so they become curious. They're able to engage in the teaching learning process because they're comfortable. They're safe. I can speak. I can say, teacher wants to hear what I'm saying. Teacher agrees with me. Teacher wants to hear from me. My colleagues are listening to me. And so they are able to be more engaging in the classroom activity. And it provides an avenue for classroom activity to be intellectually challenging, and children are able to enjoy that even more. The seventh one, and I love this one, director spoke about the fact that we're in the 21st century. We've had a curriculum that we were using for decades, and we've reached to a place in Guyana where we realize, you know what, if we're moving to the 21st century, we need a curriculum that ensures our children are prepared for the 21st century. And so the seventh principle says that students are given the opportunity to become 21st century learners by developing 21st century learning skills. And some of these skills are creativity, collaboration, communication, and most importantly, they're giving the opportunity in this curriculum to become critical thinkers. The opportunities, the content, the methods, the teaching learning process requires and it's geared in a way to help them to become critical thinkers, because we cannot have children for the 21st century who are not critical thinkers. And so it helps them to think beyond the walls of the classroom, because again, we are creating 21st century citizens who will one day live outside of the borders of the classroom. The curriculum is designed in such a way that these experiences are embedded, and the teaching learning process starts from the children's experience. So a lesson might begin one day by teachers simply asking a question, what did you see on your way to school this morning? And a child shares that, and the teaching learning process starts from that. So they're able to think critically. Might be an accident, and they're able to analyze, why did you think that accident occurred? What was the driver doing? What should he have done differently? What did he not do? And so you have all these critical questions that the children are able to ask each other, even as they discuss that incident that they saw that particular morning. And so no longer do we have a curriculum that says on Tuesday, the second week in the first term, children are expected to do this. And regardless of rainfall, dewfall, or storm, whatever, that's what teacher is teaching. It's not like that anymore. The children's experience are catered for so specifically. And so the eighth principle says that technology is a pedagogical tool that supports constructivist learning. And this can motivate children. And we know for a fact that the 21st century children that we have today are so tech savvy that before you could even think what to do, how to do, they can pick up your phone, pick up your tablet, pick up your computer, and they navigate and learn so much. And so embedded in this curriculum is technology at every sphere and area in this curriculum. And so our learners are able to learn communication skills and collaboration skills. It encourages different ways of learning, and it extends the classroom information. No longer do we just use textbooks and newspapers. Now they have the internet. Embedded in the curriculum are links and videos and stories and all of these technological means that the teachers have the opportunity to use to teach their particular lesson. And so we move to principle number 9, which says that the curriculum allows for positive, affirming relationships between, and director spoke about this, the fact that we have the teacher, the primary caregivers, and the children. And so the curriculum allows for that collaboration and that building of relationship between the students, their parents, and the teachers. And so it's no longer the teacher's responsibility alone to teach the children when they come to school. We created something that requires a cooperation by the threefold cord: the child, the parent, the teacher. And so it's there embedded in our curriculum, and it builds and forms that relationship. Within our school system, we always have professional development sessions for teachers, and we also have embedded in the Ministry of Education parent development sessions. And so you find each school, each education district will have programs designed for parents in every school year. And so that's definitely something that's on the table. And I would often tell parents whenever I'm having sessions with them that to date, as far as I know, the greatest brain surgeon in the world is Dr. Ben Carlson. And if I'm not mistaken, his mommy was illiterate, but he still became the greatest brain surgeon in the world. And when you read the history on Dr. Ben Carlson, his mommy was always present. She was always there. When he got home, she's asking him what he does. She takes him to the library. When he comes home, he has to tell her what he read at the library. Little things his mommy did in the sphere of her knowledge, and he became the greatest brain surgeon in the world. So we have to move away from the place where parents say that they don't know to the place where they understand that regardless of what I know, if I'm present and I'm there 100% and I'm giving my child or my children that support, they will develop and grow and learn. And the last principle says that embedded in this curriculum is the cultivation of social skills. Now, I said earlier, we are creating children who are one day going to live outside of the walls of this classroom. And so we want them to learn skills that they're going to be able to carry through the rest of their lives. So they learn social skills, they learn ethical behavior. And so embedded in the curriculum is the fact that we want to teach our children the soft skills, the aesthetics, how they feel, what happens in their heart, what is affecting their heart. And so they learn to live with and among people. They build trust. It helps to provide them with the capacity to grow and they're supported and they learn to collaborate with each other. Even as they work in their peer groups, we talked about that earlier, they work in their little cooperative learning groups, they work in their whole class setting, they learn to collaborate, they learn to trust each other. When they're given tasks, they know that, you know what, we're going to set a time when we have to meet as group members, and they have to honor that timing. And I am given this part to do, I have to do my part, so that when I bring it with your part, we were able to compile an entire piece of assignment or composition or piece of writing. So embedded in the curriculum are these skills that they will continuously learn throughout their life. So no longer are we teaching for an exam, or no longer are they being taught so that they write this and they come out with this amount of subject. We are teaching so that they become somebody for life. And so that aligns with what you said quite specifically.